Hello everyone. I just want to start off by saying thank you for 100 subscribers. Very thankful for that. And I saw that my build video, the PvE build video, got a lot of views. And then now I'm just making the PvP build video. Just before this, I decided to just quickly film what it's like in arena to play SNS Dagger. I'll go over my build now. Um, so I think most people who've already seen the PvE video know what gear I have. It's the only thing that's changed since then is I put a few traits in, that's all. But I'll quickly go over it. So these are the stats: 50-50, 50 strength, 50 dex, 50 perception. Daggers, Darksteel daggers, and Carnix's Neverblade. Both of them have hit chance, heavy attack chance, and crit hit chance. Um, the hit chance on this build in general is pretty low, but you're mostly going for evasion anyway. In PvP, your role is not really frontline. It's more of like an assassin tank. You're like a flanking tank. Um, you cause disruption. You can silence with your bind and take people out pretty quickly. um, so yeah, you run when you're in PvP. You'll mostly have your SNS out. You'll be moving around with this just because of the more defense. Don't worry about the hit chance because when you use your dagger abilities, it registers this hit chance because you switch to your daggers when you use a dagger abilities. And this is just so you actually get shield block chance. It's 27%, but when you pop your counter barrier, it's higher. And then this also, while you have while you have your sword and shield out, it triggers the counter attack from counter barrier. So when you're PvPing with this build, just make sure you got your SNS out. You'll survive longer as well. So yeah, you rock about 2k range defense, melee defense is on 2k, and magic defense is 1500. It'll go up when I level these to 9. Some of them are still level 8. But I'll quickly go over the stats before I get into the armor and go over it quickly again. Your max health is only 11k, but it will go up to like 14 or 13 or 14k when you get all your traits in. This won't matter much. Most of your attacks you'll be evading and blocking, so it's fine. Your melee evasion is low, but when you deal with melee users like greatsword users and other people who are using melee, you'll be using your Q block most of the time, so you won't be taking any damage anyway. Your range evasion is high, it's 900. Magic evasion is 1200. When you pop your buff, so that's like Crescent Moonlight, I'll quickly show you. So when you pop that buff, you're gonna have 1500 range evasion and 1800 magic evasion. Now this is really high. A lot of people's hit chances won't be up there unless they really do focus into perception. So you'll be evading most ranged and magic attacks. You're gonna have to watch out for melee attacks. That's the only thing that's sort of gonna be an issue for you. When you're using your dagger skills, you have a 900 crit rate. It will be higher once I go over masteries. Your buff duration is really high. Also, once again, this will be over 50% once you get all your traits in. Debuff duration, it won't be too high, but it always helps. Heavy attack chance isn't that high on this. It's about 260 if I'm correct. Yeah, 260. Another heavy attack chance, but you're mostly gonna be getting damage off crits. Now, you have a decent weaken chance on this, which is pretty good. Your silent chance will be higher after you get your jewelry in there, so you'll always be silencing people when you use the shadow step on them. Now, just once again, I went over the weapons. I'll quickly go over the armor. It won't be too long. Divine Justiciar's Mask, once again, magic evasion, melee evasion, cooldown speed. Ancient Tapestry Mantle with max health, skill damage resistance, and debuff duration. Phantom Wolf Tunic with buff duration, magic and range evasion. Same on the grips of the Executioner, range evasion, magic evasion, and attack speed. Same with the boots, magic and range evasion, debuff duration. With the boots, because they're plate, you can't get magic evasion, so you're going to just go melee evasion. I go melee endurance just to lower the damage I take from melee, because once again, like I said, greatsword users and other melee users are going to be your toughest matchups. You're going to have to really focus on when to use your Q block, and you're going to have to react to them, basically. Try and get them to use their chain on you when you're blocking, and then you'll open up with a silence, so shadow step them straight away, and then you'll do your combo on them. Now, yeah, so that's the boots. That's what I run on it. You could run movement speed instead of melee evasion. Instead of melee endurance if you want, but I'm running melee endurance. The necklace, I'm running Clasp of the Conqueror. Now, I don't have the correct traits on every piece of jewelry, but I'll go over what you need. I'll just use this. So, Clasp of the Conqueror will be your necklace. The trait you're going to want on it is max health, scale damage boost, and buff duration. These are the 3 traits you're going to want on your necklace. On the belt, now I know not everyone's going to be able to get this belt because it's the Adentis belt, or the belt of Bloodlust, which is a strength version of this belt. You can go with something else, like from the PvP shop. You might lose a few stat points, like you won't have 50 dex or strength, wherever you want to allocate the stats. I would advise just letting go of a few points in dex. Strength is more valuable just for tankiness in PvP. So yeah, if you don't get this belt, don't worry, but the traits you want to generally go for are, once again, skill damage boost, debuff duration. The third perk, you can't get max health on this belt, so you could just pick something that you think would help. So I'd probably get stun resistance, just to be into the fight more and to deal with greatsword users who might be comboing on me. What else is there now? There's the Graces of the Primal King. On this, you want to get max health, once again skill damage, and debuff duration. And the rings, I've got Amber Dimensional Band. Once again, you go max health. I've got skill damage boost on this one, and you would go on buff duration with this one. And the last ring I'm running is Eldritch Ice Band. Now, you run skill damage boost, buff duration, and the third perk you could pick whatever you think is necessary, but I would probably go with silence. Silence or weaken chance work. Silent chance will make it so when you shadow step people, you have more of a chance to hit that silence off on them, which is very valuable. It locks them out of their abilities. So yeah, that's why I run for the gear. Now, I'm going to go over the masteries now, because I missed it in my PvE video. So in daggers, you're going to go with the poison tree all the way to the end, because this gives you hit chance. You're going to need these hit chance nodes, because this build has very low hit chance. You want to get this as soon as possible. So you don't need to take the last one if you don't want to, but you want to get it at least up to this node to get that 60 hit chance, and you can put it into something else if you want. And the second tree you're going to go into is assassination. So I think it's 16 points is the max you could do right now, so I'd go up to Deep Grudge here. If you want, if you're running different gloves like hit chance gloves, or something that gives you higher hit chance, you can take a few points out of this and put it in the disguise tree to get Master of Evasion. It'll boost your evasion. This tree is also very good. All the dagger trees are pretty good. It just really depends what you play with, but this is what I use. In the SNS, I go all the way through in collision, just to all of these nodes are very good, especially the last one, just to get pop your abilities more often. And then I'm going to go with the top one up until impregnable stance, just because of that 8% increase in block chance, because you're going to be running around with your SNS in PvP, and this boost to block chance really does help, especially when you use counter barrier, because it'll proc a lot of the abilities that surround that. I'll explain when I go over the skills now in my build, but yeah, this is my masteries. Now let's go over the skills now. So Q block for your Q will be the shield block. Your Cleaving Moonlight is going to have the consecutive use. I'll show it in here, probably a bit easier. So you're going to be running Cleaving Moonlight with consecutive use and effect accumulation. You're going to be running Lightning Infusion with Lightning Infusion with the Lightning Morph, cooldown reduction, and effect duration increase. Now, these two are very important because you want to keep this up as much as possible. It's one of your biggest buffs in PvP. Shadow Strike. Now you're going to take the two you're going to take here is effect accumulation and skill distance increase, just so you could chase down people who do sometimes get away when they're low HP. This will help you out a lot. I don't take the Shadow Escape. Some people do. You can if you want, like sacrifice something else for it, but I'm just showing you what I run. I'm not a fan of this. I tend to accidentally shadow step back sometimes, but yeah, these two are a must-have in my opinion with Shadow Strike. Now, Thundercloud Bombing, you're just going to take the Thundercloud Bombing more for it. Thunder Spirit, you're going to take. This is also another really good buff in PvP. You can change it out for Stalwart Bastion from the SNS tree, which is also good. Just if you're running, so if you're not running arenas, I would actually advise that you change this out for Stalwart Bastion here. It'll give you a lot more survivability in open world PvP, just because a lot more people you got to deal with, the more tankiness will help. If you have a group, you might not need to run Stalwart Bastion, you should just be fine with Thunder Spirit, but this is what I run in arenas. I run a Thunder Spirit and with the duration increase, just because it's a really good buff to have. You can delete people really fast with it. Now, Ankle Strike, you're going to take the offhand weapon activation. This is going to make it so when you do pop this in your combo, you're going to get that much more damage off, and you'll be able to finish people off a lot faster. Now, in the SNS tree, in Piercing Strike, I'm running, well, yeah, Piercing Strike for the cone. The Shield Strike turns into Piercing Strike when you do that. Counter Barrier, now I run cooldown reduction. So this one's upon successful counter attack. Shield Strike cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds. So that's this one, Piercing Strike. It'll reduce the cooldown so you can actually spam it. So when you're fighting a crossbow user or a archer, they're going to proc this quite a lot. To the point where this just is instant reuse. You can just spam this on people. And it really does hurt. It hurts your mana, but it hurts them as well. Now, Chain Hook, I take just the skill distance increase. Once again, anything that increases your range, just so you could chase archers down, mages down who are running away from you. This helps. So I take this little node here, the skill distance increase. And then the last morph I take is a Shot at Victory. I just take the bonus damage increase by 30%, because it's a pretty big increase compared to 20% that this gives by default. You'd pop this, and by the way, this also buffs counter barrier when you're doing the the counter attack on people, and it just buffs everything in the shield tree, like Piercing Strike when you're spamming it. So it is very important that you take this. You'll notice a very big difference if you don't take this compared to if you do. So take this one, it is a must. So that's the that's the build overall, with the skills and all. In the beginning of the video you would have seen me using it. Oh, I didn't go over the perks, my bad. I'll quickly go over them now. So Skillful Evasion, pretty straightforward. It's what this build is all about. It's your main defense. I take Resilient Mind just because mana can't be an issue here. So when you are fighting range users, you're going to be using a lot of mana because you're going to be spamming your abilities to kill them quickly. You can change Resilient Mind out for other perks if you choose so. I take the Gerard's Patient just to reduce my CC. This is very important. And I take Impregnable just to increase your defenses, just in case you get surrounded by people. This is very helpful. Gives you quite a big boost to your defense. However, this is also, you could change this out. Like, you won't need it all the time. You do have Age of Shield that also boosts your defense. So this is also a good perk to take in PvP. And then you're going to need a little bit of damage, so you take Wrathful Edge. You're going to have Shadow Walker. So Shadow Walker is a must-have. Shadow Walker and Skillful Evasion, you got to have these in this build. Anything that boosts your evasion is good. And then Assassination Instinct just to increase those crit hit chances. So yeah, that is the build. Thank you for watching. Well, actually, before I say thank you for watching, I'll quickly go over a sort of combo that I like to go with. So you could see that in the video just before this, or the PvP arena I just did before this. Most of the time when I'm engaging, I'm stealthing. I'm popping my buffs in stealth, so lightning infusion, thunder spirit, even counter barrier. You could pop it here because you're gonna go in, they might wail on you, and then you would either, if you shadow strike on them, you would use a anchor strike straight after just to trip them, and then you'd open with cleaving moonlight. You could pop a shot of victory. You could spam. You could do that. If they're hitting you back, you could spam shield strike, and then when they get enough, what is it called again? Thunderclouds. You just pop one of these when they get low. If you haven't finished them by then, you can back out. Just use your shield strike to back out. This will save you because you'll have evasion active when you're doing that, so they won't be able to hit you that much if they're range users. If you're wailing on people and someone is like a greatsword user is about to come up to support them, you gotta pop. Like, you could save your counter barrier as well, but make sure you're always popping that and pressing Q. Let the greatsword user go through his combo. Once he does, you gotta switch over to him or get a teammate to come over, or you could finish the guy that you were already attacking. Just chase him down. The greatsword user, once his combo is done, you don't have to worry about him that much. If you're fighting him to start off with, make sure you got the counter barrier up. So when you engage, anytime you're fighting a melee user, try and have counter barrier up as much as possible. Another way you could trip people is you could pop the chain and then hit ankle strike on them when they come next to you. It will trip them most of the time. It's very useful, gets them out of the fight. If you do it with the shadow strike, it will silence them so they can't use their abilities. It's very helpful. And remember, every time you're stealthed, if you pop these buffs and you attack, you have got an increased crit. I think it's a guaranteed crit, so it's always good. Yeah, other than that, it's really good. If you've got multiple people next to you as well, that's what Thunder Spirit is really good for. If you're wailing on a guy and someone's trying to like save him, like a melee user or something, you could just carry on wailing. That guy's going to take damage too from Thunder Spirit. When you're counter barrying like this and you're blocking like this, Thunder Spirit will also do damage to everyone. It turns most of your attacks into an AoE, so very useful perk. Just trying to think if I've gone over everything, but I think I have. If I missed anything, let me know in the comments. I'll also link my quest log to this. There is a blue build, like a blue gear build that I made on quest log also that I used while I was leveling. I slowly switched into purple gear. I slowly switched into this. I also had I put on there my other gear build before this, where I was running plate armor. You have a lot less evasion, but it's still pretty good. You have more melee evasion. So if you're having a hard time with melee, if you don't like this build, there's another build on my quest log that is a little bit more focused towards dealing with melee players. In my opinion, there's no point. As long as you're using your block, you're fine. Just remember, when you play this build, the melee users are your hardest matchup. You just gotta remember that, and just be wary around them. But most archers and mages, you don't have to worry about them. You could just W key on them and then spam cleaving moonlight. They won't hit you. You'll be fine. Yeah, once all the jewelry is sorted out for me, it's only going to get stronger, so it's fine. It's definitely not a meta build. Just remember that if you play this build, it is something along the sides. It's more of an annoyance for people, but it's definitely fun to play. That's for sure. Yeah, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Yeah, new videos soon. Thank you very much.